Hello, Merry Meet. So I want to review another paranormal show. And the show I want to review this time is called Ghost Mind. And I just finished watching it and I have some mixed opinions on it. Now, first let me say that part of the problem with the show is that it feels very staged. I mean, it doesn't feel like I'm watching a paranormal show where people are discovering evidence and so on and so forth. It all sort of have a very story-like outline, so I sort of feel like it's scripted. I mean, I don't have any evidence for that or anything like that. That's what it makes me feel. And later when I did a little bit of reading on the internet on it, the main paranormal investigator, what's his name? Patrick Doyle, I think, has a history of basically being in the field of debunking the paranormal. And he's also said that shows like Ghost Mind's 100% entertainment value, and gone on to describing how basically things are edited to just basically get the viewership up. So there's very little actual evidence there. And yeah, that sort of makes it feel very fake, even if the owner of the mine now has some sort of business selling, I think it's videos or something like that from the mine, and swears it's all true. So yeah, it's one of those that I'm very skeptical about, but it is entertaining. Basically, there's one thing I really like about Ghost Mine. That is that the entire show is one investigation. Never seen anything like that before. Usually it's one episode, one investigation, or even one episode, several investigations. But here you have, it's 18 episodes at all. It's 2 seasons, and it's all one investigation. It's basically the Crescent mine that they're investigating, and they're working with a crew of miners. It's looking for gold, and they discover various things that happened in the mine and in the surrounding town, and also connections to Freemasonry. It's quite interesting. It's made me want to watch another episode every time one was done. So yeah, it's a pretty good show. That way it gives good entertainment value. Is it good proof of the paranormal? Well, if what I've all of the EVPs and sounds and bangs and all of that actually is true, then yeah, it is. However, I sort of feel like it's scripted. But yeah, back to what I do like. I really like the idea of taking that much time on investigating a location and basically going into depth around it. And I hope they make another show like that, perhaps that feels a bit more real, where you have a team of paranormal investigators that goes into depth around some haunted location, goes into the history, where several episodes or even a whole season perhaps is dedicated to one place, instead of basically you having 45 minutes for one investigation or even several investigations, because that's a very interesting way to do it, and it just gives you so much more detail. So I like that. Another thing I also think is kind of neat is that it sort of teaches you a bit about how modern mining works. I mean, I found that aspect actually quite fascinating. Well, I'm usually not the one that's so too interested about the mundane aspects of things. That was actually pretty darn interesting. The machinery they use, what safety mechanisms they have, all of that things actually is rather fun to watch. So yeah, and it's the miners that really is the main stars there. They're quite a charismatic crew. So you can say it's far more of a reality show than your typical paranormal show, because it follows these minus two seasons, or 2 seasons of mining at this, and then it is really just about just as much about the mining process as it is about the paranormal discoveries. So as such, it's entertaining to watch. But the paranormal parts of it is, like I said, it feels scripted. It's not that they're doing anything directly wrong, it's just, it's very well paced, and things that are real usually aren't. But yeah, generally speaking, they go in, they see some apparition, or they get an EVP or something like that. Investigate the area around that where that was discovered, go into local archives, speak with people around, discover what history is there, and so on and so forth, and sort of go through the clues. That is quite interesting. But given both Patrick Doyle's statements, and also I've heard something about that his assistant, what's her name again, Kristen something, is an actress and a model, and not actually an experienced paranormal investigator, but I've only found one source for that, so I'm not sure. But anyway, given all of these things, it sort of is one that I have to doubt if it's real, but I do hope it's real, because if it is, there's a lot of good evidence there. But yeah, do I recommend it? Yeah, I do. It's a fun watch. It's not one of those what I would necessarily watch if what you're looking for is to be astonished by paranormal evidence simply because it's so questionable. Now, don't get me wrong. All paranormal shows are questionable. It's very easy for any television crew to fake things. But some shows are more believable than others, and this one, while it's not the typical sensationalistic that a lot of shows are, it is still sort of, yeah, it has that feel of being scripted. I'm more feeling that I'm watching a television series with a plot line than I'm watching actually real paranormal investigators running around and investigating. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for the proof of the paranormal, but for a good ghost story and an interesting show that is very different than other paranormal shows I've seen, yeah, I recommend it. So for the paranormal part, I'll give it 5 out of 10, simply because it doesn't feel very real. I can be mistaken with that. It can be very real, it can maybe not real, I'm not sure. But there's so many things that are questionable, not necessarily in the evidence itself, because it is gathered pretty professionally. With the EVPs, with how they're doing things, it's gathered pretty professionally. But with Doyle's statements around the show, and also basically the general feel I get when I'm watching it, I'm sort of skeptical. But yes, so for the paranormal parts, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. If I should discover that it is more real than that, and get more faith in the show, then that number will go up, because there's a lot of interesting evidence, and definitely a lot of interesting sounds, things that ended up on video, and so on and so forth. But as it stands now, color me skeptical, and I'll give it a 5. When it comes to entertainment value and being a darn good ghost story, and also being a very interesting show with you actually learning a bit about how mining works, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It's a worthwhile show to watch. So yeah, it's different, it's interesting, and yeah, give it a watch. I'm not sure if they have it on DVD, but you can usually find episodes on things like YouTube and such. Though, of course, I recommend finding a way to watch it legally, of course. But yeah, I recommend this show. It's fun and interesting. Just don't put too much credit in it. Watch it for entertainment value. And that's my review of Ghost Mine. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and blessed be.